if you're new to the show, guess what? You're going to have to understand my Raider rumor scale. Here it is, 0 Chucky heads, tuck rule, tuck that. This rumor is not going to happen. 1 Chucky head is a small shred of truth. I like to think 25% chance of happening. 2 Chucky heads, people are talking. This rumor's 50-50. 3 Chucky heads, pretty likely 75% chance this rumor's going to happen. 4 Chucky heads, believe it, baby. 100% this rumor's going to happen. The first rumor coming up here on the board is around Le'Veon Bell, and is he going to be an Oakland Raider in 2019? I'm going to give this one 2 Chucky heads, and people are talking. And who's the guy talking? It's Chat Sports' very own Tom Downey. And even though Le'Veon Bell skipped 2018 and he was looking for that large contract, our very own Tom Downey thinks that Le'Veon could actually go to Oakland. He actually listed Oakland as the second most likely destination for Le'Veon Bell. But why didn't Le'Veon Bell play for the Steelers? He wants a nice, fat contract. But I don't know if the Raiders should ultimately give it to him. I mean, when you're talking about money, like, this is the kind of money that Le'Veon Bell wants. He wants Todd Gurley, David Johnson kind of money, up at that 13, 14 million. I mean, here are the top highest paid running backs right now per year. Le'Veon probably wants to be in that top 5, and sure, he's been great for the Steelers, but so is James Conner. And I was asked the other day on Twitter, Mitch, if somebody gave you a Lamborghini, wouldn't you drive it? Comparing Le'Veon to a Lamborghini. I said, sure, but I would much rather drive a $600,000 Bentley and James Conner than a $17 million Lamborghini and Le'Veon Bell. I really hope the Raiders don't go out and spend all that money on Le'Veon. But I want to know from you, would you want the Raiders to sign Le'Veon Bell? So in mind that they are going to end up paying him that much money. He will be a top 5 running back, I can guarantee you, in terms of money per year and just all around salary. So knowing that, would you want the Raiders to sign Le'Veon Bell? I want you to type 1 for yes or type N for no. The next rumor coming up here on the board is around Jordy Nelson. And is he going to play in Week 11? I'm going to give this one 2 Chucky heads. People are talking. And he dealt with an injury at the end of... He dealt with an injury in Week 10 that actually forced him out of the game. But Jordy did return to action and finish the game ultimately. But if you watched it, you could tell he just was a little bit banged up and just wasn't moving as quick and as brisk as I think what Jordy Nelson has looked. But it's looking like right now that Jordy is going to ultimately be a game-time decision. With that being said, I want you to stay close to the practice reports, because if Jordy comes out and he practices on Friday, that's a good sign. If he doesn't, I don't know, not such a good sign. So, will Jordy Nelson play in Week 11? I want you to type Y for yes or type N for no. Let me know. I'll tell you what, though, if Jordy Nelson doesn't play, don't be surprised if the over-unders on BetDSI change a lot, because I'm telling you right now, Jordy could impact that big time. And if you want to bet on the Raiders game, guess where you're going to go? You're going to go to chatsports.com/bet. You're going to use that promo code LIVE120 for a 120% deposit bonus. I want to give a shout out to BetDSI for hooking up us at Chat Sports with the best deposit bonus on the internet. Next rumor coming up here on the board is around another wide receiver. It's Marcell Ateman, and is he finally going to make his NFL debut? I'm giving this one 4 Chucky heads. Believe it, baby. And Gruden came out and said that they expect Ateman to at least play a role. He could even be the 3rd wide receiver for the Oakland Raiders this week. With injuries to Martavis and Jordy, this is really going to open up the door for Marcell Ateman, and I'm glad. If you watch the preseason, Marcell Ateman was actually, I thought, one of the best receivers that the Raiders had during the preseason. Now, he is likely going to be behind Brandon LaFell and Seth Roberts, but those are just 2 kind of receivers. Then you had Marcell Ateman, who just saw a ton of production out of Oklahoma State. Now, I will also say they don't really play defense in the Big 12, so that's why he's got some big numbers there in 4 years. But at the end of the day, he was a wide receiver who was really productive for the Raiders in the preseason. And right here's the wide receiver depth chart for the Raiders. It's not looking too pretty. Seth Roberts, LaFell, and Harris. So, Ateman, anything that you can do, man, to add to it, I think all Raider Nation at this point would say, hey, if you could help us out, maybe win a game, I think that'd be pretty dope.